Have you ever asked yourself, what's happening? What's happening to my loved one? To their mind? To their body? To their soul? How about what's happening to me? Welcome to the Journey to Soul Care for Dementia Caregivers show, where we will sort through all things related to all types of dementia and Alzheimer's. There will be various formats. There will be various formats to our episodes, some interviews, some random thoughts, stats and new research, and a lot of conversations for thought about how we can make this journey better for our loved ones without losing ourselves. My name is Jennifer Folliott-Ojla, and I am the creator and founder of Caregiver Care Kit and Dementia Care Kit. And I'll be your host for this show. I have 25 years of caregiving experience behind me, mixed with my career as a social worker. I'm trained in dementia and you first out of the Alzheimer's Society in Toronto. So let's get started. Let's unravel this thing. Maybe you'd like to grab a pen and a piece of paper, or this is just going to be food for thought. What makes you uniquely you? What is it about you that separates you or makes you different from the person next to you? And what makes your loved one uniquely them? You know, when you met them, when you had a lifetime with them, what makes them unique that maybe you don't see in someone else? Is it the way they are? Is it the way they think? What is it about them that makes them unique? And what has dementia done to change that? To change how they are not who they are anymore, or how it has affected their mind, or how it has affected their body, or how it has affected their soul. And how has dementia changed you? Same questions. Your mind, your body, your soul, your habits. So these are the three questions we kind of want to think on to, put some thought into how exactly has this disease changed us? Where were we before this? The before and the after. So I kind of like to use the analogy of an apple. So I see this apple as being red and round. It has a stem. It has a bottom. But pretty much when you look at this, except you don't want to look at the tag, when you look at this, you recognize this as an apple. There are characteristics about this apple that we all share in our judgment of why we think it's an apple. So if you look at this apple yourself, and if you looked at it as yourself, you would see that it is an apple. It has some unique qualities about it. It's all the things that you think it's going to be. But then you meet somebody and they look at this apple and they see all the same things you do, but their perspective is different. They can see that it's a red apple. They can see that it has a stem. They can see that it has a bottom. But they also see that it's got some yellow markings in it. And if you look really closely at it, you can see, find my camera here, that it has some dots, some markings. And you can also see that on this, the stem is relatively long and it's green and brown. I don't know if you can tell the difference between whether this is a Macintosh or a Gala or a red apple. Macintosh, yeah. I can't think of all the apple names. But you know it's an apple. But your partner sees it a little bit different. That's his perspective. Everyone that looks at this apple is going to come up with similar and very different attributes of this apple, because we perceive things in a general way, the similarities, in a more specific way, the uniqueness. But we all see that it's an apple. When dementia comes along, it changes the structure of the brain, and therefore it changes the perception of the apple. So you as a caregiver are still seeing the apple as an apple. But as your loved one moves farther into dementia or Alzheimer's, sometimes they can still see that it's an apple, but they don't recognize or they don't perceive the same elements that you do. And as dementia progresses, they lose the ability to recognize that this is an apple. They can still see the stem. They can still see the form, that it's a round apple. But they can't necessarily name it. Now, not all people will do that, but there is a good majority of people that will not be able to recognize this as an apple. And that's what's happening in later stages of dementia, when people can no longer recognize things that are a part of their daily life. So this is how dementia was explained to me back when I was being trained. Could change by now, but this is how I was taught. You can look for your keys to your car in your home because you've forgotten where you put them. That is forgetting. That can be attributed to old age. That can be attributed to a lot of things. It could be attributed to medication you're taking. Dementia is more specific than that. When you hold your keys in your hand and you say to your partner, I don't know what these are. And your partner says to you, well, they're keys. Yeah, but I don't know what they're for. There's no longer a recognition that maybe they're your house keys or your car keys, but you've used them every day of your life, for the most part, and you can no longer recognize them. It's the same with glasses. Often a partner will come up and say, I can't find my glasses. And they'll say, the other partner will say, they're in your hand. Okay, but I don't know what to do with these things. Well, they're your glasses and you're looking for them, so put them on your face. Well, what are they going to do for me? Well, they're going to help you see better. It's when when you have something that you've used all the time and you can no longer, you might recognize it as a object, but you no longer understand or recognize what the function is, then we're moving on in our dementia. And that is very difficult for spouses, adult children of parents with dementia, anybody who is directly involved in dementia. It's scary. You don't know what's happening. You don't understand why it's happening. And these are some of the things that we're going to go over in the shows and bring up questions and use a lot of thought processes about how dementia changes the course of a human being. It doesn't change the human being, the physical aspects of the human being, but it does change the course. And we're going to go through how this also affects the caregiver and how the perceptions are different. And research and information and things that we're hearing directly from people with dementia and Alzheimer's are starting to form a basis of how we can look at this and how we can share the information and understanding of what's starting to filter in and to flow. Because we're starting to see a better picture of it now. How a person with dementia feels, how they think, how they process, what kind of noises in their head, what is happening to their body. And this helps us build a picture that we can share with caregivers to help them to understand that it is not their partner or their loved one that is having behaviors or being really different than they normally are, that it is the disease that is speaking out. And the more we can understand the disease, the more tools that we will have to help make this a less roller coastery ride. So I would really love to hear back from anybody who's willing to say, this is what makes me uniquely me. This is what makes my partner or my loved one uniquely them. And this is how dementia has changed it for us. And then we can get a better grasp of what the apple's going to look like and the changes that are going to happen as the journey continues. We are here for support. We are here to put people together with other people that are on the same walk that you're on. We want to bring you together so that we all can understand the different perspectives of how people see the changes that they're looking at in their loved ones. And then we can provide better understanding. We will always provide support, but you also then have peer support so that you and other people walking a similar path can help each other get through this journey. So I would like to leave you with this inspiration. It's a little on the deep side. If you go very deep, that is where you live. You live in a seat of consciousness. A true spiritual being lives there without effort and without intent. How does this change? When dementia invades the body, the mind, the spirit, and the soul. No one should ever have to walk this journey alone. I would like to invite you to join our Facebook group for Dementia Caregivers for conversation, peer support, and upcoming events. And just a lot of thoughtful conversation about what's going on here, what's happening. So I hope you enjoyed this little piece that we put out today, and I hope we'll see you on our next one. Have a great day.